Welcome to another NUCIDA video. If you like it, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and click the bell. Never forget our upcoming sessions. If you have any questions or hints, please leave a comment. Our certified QA experts will reply in time. It's never been easier to manage tests at scale than with XRAY test management. XRAY is a Jira native software test management app that ensures your testing and development teams are collaborating to achieve the highest quality products. With XRAY, you'll never deliver broken or untested code again. XRAY is a comprehensive test management solution that uses Jira native issue types to specify, organize, plan, and execute tests. With XRAY, you can create your tests and add preconditions, organize them using the test sets or the test repository, plan your test strategy, and finally execute tests and report the status. Now this time we'll be trying to create a quick test execution issue type, which is different than other like preconditions and tests. Then we will be calling our test under that to run it and see the interface of executing a test in the XRAY. Now let's quickly go ahead and click on the Create button here, which will allow us to create a new issue type, and this time we'll be selecting our next issue type, which is Test Execution. So let's click on this button here, and we'll be writing a quick summary for this. For example, you can name it accordingly, like what tests you're doing. Thus, you can write it as unit testing, you can write it as integration testing, and so on. If you're writing a common test execution for all these sprint tests, then you can say test execution for sprint 1, test executions for sprint 2. Assuming this execution is going to contain all that tests that you're going to run as regression, then you can name it as regression test suite as well. Right now, I'm just going to make it an ad hoc test execution, which is just going to run a few tests randomly, and we are not making any difference here, right? So I'm just going to create this test execution, which is called an ad hoc test execution, but I just gave you all the information on how to appropriately name your test execution. Now it's time for us to click on the Create button here and create a test execution altogether. So as soon as the test execution gets created, let's go to this issue by clicking on the Quick Launch. And I'll be pushing this into the design phase right now. So the status would be to do. That means I associate the tests related to this execution and try to import all that information, which we need to run a test. So all you must do is generally the test page should get loaded. I'm not sure it's taking a slightly long time, so it is just quickly hit enter once again and see if that gets loaded faster. Sometimes it depends on your system configuration, or it depends on the internet availability, or sometimes it's even the server, which takes slightly longer. Just don't wait, and you can click on quickly the refresh button to just make it happen once again. If in case that takes too long, you can just give it some time. This is how the page will be loaded, and this will have only one tab, unlike the previous options, right? So if you went to the test, you saw that there were buttons like test steps, you had test executions, you had test plan, etc. Now it's time we are in the test execution, and here it only has one option. What are the tests that you're going to run under this, right? So let me add a test because again you have options here. Do you want to use existing tests? Do you want to create a new test? Or do you want to call a test from a particular test set? A test set is something which we have yet to cover, so don't worry about that. We'll be talking in some other video tutorials. So let's click on the existing test as we have already got the test with us, and let's associate that to this test execution. You can make a select directly by dropping down if you remember the ID, and there will be a short summary here. If you want, you can search something more by using your project and other filter criteria, or you can also make use of JQL to make a quick search. I keep it simple right now. You can just select what you want to go for. So I'm picking up the test case MTP16, which tests. As a tester, validate that a registered user can log in on Daily Hunt News app and click on Add Selected. If you want, you can add more tests. Also, at this point there's no restriction, that you can only add one test. It's just that it will create it as a test execution, and you can have multiple instances of the same test, or you can have multiple different tests under a single execution, and it will all show you the overall status bar here, that how many tests are there in this execution, and how many are executed, how many are yet to do. Let me add a few more tests, just for our reference on how the progress bar will change, and the count will show, and if we talk about executing some of them, how the difference will be. So, I'm adding MTP15. Yes, let's add MTP15. Sorry, I should have added one more. Okay, no matter, we'll just repeat that once again. I'm adding one more. That is MTP17 and just adding that here. So now, if you see the counters increased, and it's showing us that there are 3 tests, which are in to do, and total tests are 3, and these are the details of the test. Also, you see the test type, you see the data set if you have passed any. Don't worry. The data set is something different, which will be coming back to you with details, and this is basically to pass parameters. And run a single test with multiple sets of data. If in case the tests are executed already, and you have got defects raised in that, then the defect will be linked here, and the count will be shown. The status will be displayed here. And this is your execution button. So, let's go ahead quickly. This is all that you need to do to run. I'll just mark this test as in progress. That means now we are running it. And we will be just going off with running our very first test in the X-ray. So, all you must do is click on one of these tests. Of course, I'll go in the sequential order. If you want to change the sequence, you can just drag and drop and say, no, this is what we'll be running first and then second and so on. So yes, all the protocols of test management are very well followed here. Let me just keep it on the top because I'm just going to run one test right now and click on this run button. As soon as you click on the run button, it's going to take you to a completely different window, which is the X-ray executor. And this X-ray executor window will give you the significance of interaction and the interface, which you need for running a test. Now that's the window that you're looking at right now. If you see here, I've got the summary on the top. I see the hierarchy that the test that you are running belongs to test execution MTP20 and belongs to this project. At the same time, you see the execution with the exploratory tree app. So, you would need that app to be installed to run an expert test. If you have a data set, you can see that here. If you want to import the execution results from external sources, you can do that. Even you can run the timer to capture how long you take. If not, the system will capture started on and finished on and show you what is the duration taken. But if you want to capture a time log, you can even do that as well. So here is the assignee executed by will come once you complete the execution or run the execution nearly version revision and the test environments if you have created one, right? So right now, my execution's title is to do. Follow that. If you see, here is the list of all the findings which we have during the execution. So right now, it is empty, but if you have anything to do, you can. Always make use of it, right? I said if there were any defects, I can add it right from here. If I click on this button, I can create a defect, and it'll take me to the issue type as a bug. So, I can just select the bug here, report a defect, and the count will be added right here. Okay? Evidence to support any of your executions, any of your defects. You can do that if you want to include the comment. And this is all for the overall execution. So, say for example, right at the beginning of execution, you find that something is not working, the application is failing. You can report this effect right here. No need to go to the steps because steps will be execution failures, right? Before executing, if you have any failures, you can use this tab for that. Next is the test details, and the test details are telling me a tested developer is associated to it. So, it's testing this requirement, and we have two preconditions, which is to install the Daily Hand News app and make sure that you're registered. So, assume that if you have fulfilled these, criteria, Okay? If you have fulfilled these criteria, then proceed to step 3. If you have not, then fulfill these criteria and then proceed to step 3. So, all the steps are mentioned here, like which requirement, which precondition, and which steps are supposed to be executed now. So now, if you see here, my test cases have been imported, and assuming that I have got the application with me, I'll be just quickly running this test and keeping it as a happy path. Okay, keeping it as a happy path. I'll be running this test now. Say for example, enter the username as specified. The username is here. I click on the actual result and mention that yes, the username is entered and displayed. In that case, you just save it first, and then here on the right you have 3 colors representing. If this step is passed, then the step is in progress. By default, your test will come in progress as soon as you update the first status. Okay, so this is currently being executed and red represents failed. So let me mark this as green and you will see some transformation on this window right now. For example, the overall status will change. You will have this. The gray bar is to turn into green. So let's click on this, right? Do you see that? There's a background color green. There's a 2 bar on the left that says green, and here it says you started executing, and a timer has kicked off. Right? A timer has kicked off, and the time is going to be captured. How long do I take? Similarly, I'm going to quickly run through and say the password also is entered. Entered as masked, okay, and say save. Now this time also the test has passed, because expected and equals or actuals are the same. So, I'll just take this as passed as well, right? The overall status remains executing and the timer is being captured. And here, if I just say the last one, that is to click on the login button, and I would say here that the actual home page is displayed. You can make it better, by following the protocols. I would say the user's home page is displayed, right? That makes more sense. So, I'll click on save, and I'll click on pass again. But if in case you mark it as a fail, you have a stepwise defect button. The difference between this top defect on the top right and the defect here is that when you click on a defect button and click on create defect, it does not capture anything, right? The summary is blank, the description is blank, etc. Everything is blank. But if you click on a step that I have got a defect and you say create defect, you will see that the description is capturing your steps, saying that this is what the user tried doing by entering a username, so-and-so, password so-and-so, and the login button, and this is what happened. So, this is the benefit of raising a defect right here from the X-ray, not going after the execution and raising it. See, there is no harm in creating a defect after the execution, but if you want to raise it right here, a lot of your efforts will be reduced. So, let me just mark this as passed, and ta-da! My execution time closed, and I have got 2 minutes 13 seconds taken to run this. The start time was 3:37, close time is 3:39, and executed, that is tapped by me. So now I've got this all detailed. I pretty much did not have the version. If I modify anything, I will see the version here. I have not created the environment here, so it's empty, right? So, it pretty much gives you all that information, what you really need to run a simple test. Don't worry, this is something which will be going to come back again and again. We'll show you different scenarios, different usage of options, raising a defect, etc. in our upcoming videos. Now, I would like to explain the differences between X-ray's test execution and subtest executions. At the end of the video, I will show you how you can easily change a test execution to a subtest execution and vice versa. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment below. A test execution is an issue type that aggregates a user-determined collection of tests. It monitors and verifies if those tests are working as expected in a target context and environment. Through the overall execution status, which is updated as each test is being performed, The user is informed about the progress of the test execution, including which tests passed, failed, are being executed, or are waiting to be performed. An association between a test execution issue and a test issue is called a test run. Hence, a test execution is composed of a list of test runs. A test execution issue can be assigned to a tester. It is also possible to assign individual test runs to several testers. A subtest execution has the same functionalities as the test execution issue type. The difference between them is that the subtest execution is a subtask and can be created within the context of a requirement. Creating a test execution as a subtask of the requirement issue provides you the ability to track executions in the Agile board. Another advantage of subtest executions is that the mentioned requirement cannot be closed before all related subtest executions are closed. For instance, this ensures in Agile environments that all acceptance tests of a user story are tested successfully. Otherwise, the user story could not be closed. How can you create test executions and subtest executions in XRAY? First, I would like to create a user story, which represents a requirement with its acceptance tests that needs to be developed and tested. I named it User Story Dem74. Now I create a new test for this user story and assign both together. I am going to create two test steps. I will clone the second one from the first and modify it a bit. Let's turn back to the user story. Now you can see our created test linked to the user story. The test represents the XRAY test case issue type. Of course, the test status is not run, because we didn't establish a test execution yet. But now I would like to create a subtest execution for the user story Dem74. You could define additional information like the software version and the test environment. I leave these fields empty and click on the Create button. Now, the subtest execution is created after clicking on this arrow and then clicking again here. You can see the test run with the two test steps of our created test case Dem75. Back to our use case, you can see our subtest execution, which is technically handled like a Jira subtask. But what can you do if you intend to create a test execution instead of a subtest execution? How could you fix it? Most XRAY users do not know how to deal with that. Here is my hint for you. Just click on the subtest execution again to display the execution content. By the way, the overall status is to do, because we haven't executed the test. Now click on the three dots above on the right side, and then the Convert to Issue menu item. The Convert Data mask appears. Then select the test execution issue type in the New Issue Type field, and click the Next button. Now our subtest execution has become a test execution. The test execution is not treated as a subtask of our user story anymore. Of course, you can change a test execution to a subtest execution too. So go to the three dots menu again and select Convert to Subtask. Then select our user story in the Select Parent Issue field and click the Next button and the Finish button. Now we have established a subtask for our user story. Therefore, we need to execute one missing step to get our subtest execution back again. Just click on the three dots menu again and select the Move menu item. Activate the Change Issue Type option at the Move Subtask Data Mask and click the Next button. In Step 2, select the subtest execution and click the Next button. Also do this in Step 3, which brings you to Step 4 to confirm the requested move from subtask to subtest execution. Now we have our subtest execution again. Thus, you know the differences between XRAY test execution and subtest execution, and you can change your execution between both issue types. This might be helpful to correct any user faults. I hope this video helps you understand more about test tools and how you can use them to improve your QA activities. Test management shouldn't be a burden to your team. That's why over 10 million testers and 10,000 companies in 135 countries worldwide trust XRAY to deliver the highest quality products faster than ever before. Break the silo between testing and development. Integrate them under the same toolset with XRAY for Jira, and NUCIDA supports you to achieve that. If you like it, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and click the bell. Never forget our upcoming sessions. If you have any questions or hints, please leave a comment. Our certified QA experts will reply in time, or even produce a separate video about your topic. Please also check out our other over 200 videos about software quality. Happy testing! See you next time.